NCTV45, The Train, anytime on your time.
This program was provided through funding from Cedars Restaurant in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. A special thanks to Cedars, featuring Middle Eastern, Italian, and American cuisine.
Welcome to the Cedars Sports Corner, everybody. I'm Alex Laverson, and with me, as always, is our producer, Mr. Angelo Parada. And I'm not sure. What do you? I don't know what you're doing there. But
I want to look at you through lenses of a different kind because you've had a rough start to your football season there.
Man, I'll tell you what. If it's not Pitt getting blown out by Penn State, it's the Steelers going 0-1-1. And Angelo, listen, the Steelers really right now are alarming me. They're a dysfunctional mess. They're unorganized. And you can't even go by the last two games. Go with the last three games. Last year in the playoff game against the Jaguars, give up, 42 points. And then beginning of the year, you tie with the Browns. And then yesterday, you lose to the Chiefs. 42-39. Angela, this is a very disturbing trend, especially now that we have Antonio Brown on Twitter saying to trade him and see what the Steelers would be like without him or how he would do on another team. And, Angelo, this is
China.
This is
China.
Okay. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Well, in China, they don't read left to right. They read right to left.
One way or another, I think it's...
So, the Chinese guys that they hired, it works. They hired win one soon. If you notice, they went with a tie, a loss, and they're working their way into the win column. So they're working right to left.
I hope so, Ange, because, man... It's not even just that. It's like, it's how they're losing these games. They're so sloppy and disorganized. The play calling can be so putrid. I mean, last year you had Tomlin taking over for the defensive coordinator, calling plays for him. Apparently he didn't trust him making the calls. I don't even know why you have him as a defensive coordinator anyway, if that's the point. Angela, what do you blame on the Steelers' trouble so far?
Mr. Mike Tomlin.
Okay. Go ahead and explain.
That it starts at the top. We've had guys getting in trouble. I hate to say this, guys for the Patriots don't get in trouble.
I know.
Okay, so it starts at the top. And if I was taking a look at that, we'd have a sit-down talk with everybody involved and say, it stops now. Yeah,
and that's what's bothering me the most. It's just the lack of discipline this team seems to have, both on the field and even off the field. And now, more than ever, I'm finally starting to hear even a lot of the Mike Tomlin apologists coming out, and criticizing him. And, Angelo, it's a shame, too, because I feel like James Conner is a real bright spot for the Steelers. And it's a shame that he's getting overshadowed by not only the losses, but all the stuff that's going on. And,
I'm still wearing my black and gold.
Well, obviously, look, we're all still going to root for the Steelers. It's still going to be our team. It's just I predicted them to win the AFC. I predicted them to go to the Super Bowl.
It's only the second game.
It's going to be going on to week 3 now. Yeah, I understand. But I'm just looking at the trend of the past 3 games, if you're, including the Jaguar divisional playoff game last year. I don't see any progress. I just see a complete dumpster fire right now. And the Steelers, they were 13-3 last year. So, were they 13-3 last year simply because of the talent they had? Were they winning in spite of coaching? You know, because a lot of times coaching can make up for a lack of talent, and a lack of coaching could be. Yeah.
I think they'll be fine. They just got to get over having a little agita, upset stomach, and they have to be told to mind their P's and Q's and let's get back to business. If Chuck Noll was there, he'd tell them, if we don't start changing, it'll be time for you to get on with your life's work.
Yeah, and you know, Tomlin is he's basically a player's coach. You even had James Harrison, we talked about this before on ESPN, basically reiterating everything you said. Like, it's not enough structure, not enough discipline, accountability, organization. He had his own star linebacker said that. And to Ange, maybe you are more optimistic about the Steelers than I am, but even their draft picks, the last, since 2012, starting with Ziggy Hood, they've panned out to be like good, but not good enough. And do you see the Steelers making a coaching change if this year turns out to be a season the Steelers go maybe like 6-10?
It depends on how much off-field tomfoolery there is.
And I think so too, because we talked about this before we went on the air. The Steelers don't like to get rid of their head coaches. And I like that about them. I really do. I like the stability. It really makes the Steelers like one of the prime jobs of the NFL. But if there's one thing that I feel like that would force the Rooney's hands, would be off-the-field chaos and mayhem, and
now,
even on the field.
Let's talk. You're wearing your Cleveland Brown stuff.
This is green.
You decide at home.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, the Cleveland Browns. I wonder if they play Butchie out there in Cleveland.
Bungee?
Butchie. They throw the Pauline. You got to get close.
What do you mean bocce?
Butchie.
Tomato.
Because here they are, 21-18 again, close, no cigar.
The Browns are like a missile that just keeps
They're like
misfiring.
the little Pauline that just keeps squirting around.
Yeah, it's like they're like so
I
close.
played bocce.
No, but that doesn't surprise me. You look like a bocce guy.
Yeah, they're close. I was close.
Yeah. You look like a bocce guy.
They look like so I'm just saying, I don't know. Now, when we get back, I got a lot of things to say.
Oh, goodness. This is going to be great. I can only imagine.
I got a quote from the man.
Oh, boy. Well, let's take a break and we'll get a word from our sponsors, and we'll come back to see what Angelo has stored for me. So this is going to be good.
Sylvan Heights Golf Course in Newcastle, Pennsylvania features many amenities, lush fairways, and great greens, and many challenging shots. Your crowd will applaud. A short drive from Butler, Sharon, Pittsburgh, Elwood, and Youngstown. It's Sylvan Heights Golf Course in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. This program furnished by the MAD Unit, Mobile Auto Detailing. See Michael Sad at themadunit.com. Elham's for one great dining experience.
Welcome back to the Cedars Sports Corner, everybody. And Angelo said before we went to break that he has something in store for me. So let's hear it. Angelo, what do you got?
Here come the Irish. Here come the Irish. Everybody's on the Irish because as they played the Vanderbilt Commodores, they came up with a relatively close win.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lou Holtz, tweeted out, we may not have been the best team in the country. We may not have been the best team in the stadium. But we came up with 3 fumbles. Recovered 3 fumbles and won.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that wasn't against Appalachian State. What do you think about that?
Well, you know what? Penn State is undefeated at the moment. It wins against Appalachian State,
Hey,
Pitt,
now,
and
I
State.
I think next week's a tough game for them.
Who do they play?
Union.
Penn State plays Union?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying it could be very, very tough going because they won't have a cupcake.
And they have the same colors.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Ange. We talked about this before. The Big Ten is so top heavy. I feel like it's been that way forever. I don't even know if I want to say top heavy. I feel like I just want to say Ohio State. And Penn State obviously last year was good, but just in general, I feel like it's not even the Big Ten. It's like Ohio State and the rest of these Midwestern, or not Midwestern, just these type of schools.
Think about this. Ohio State, Indiana, and Penn State are all 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you've got 2-1 Maryland, Michigan, and then 1-1. So if your name begins with an M in the Big Ten, you got 1 loss. Maryland, Michigan, and Michigan State. Okay, now over in the western section of this debacle, you've got somebody like Northwestern. They're 1-2, but they're 1-0 overall. And who knows who everybody else played. So it leads you to think, wow, what do we got here?
Mm-hmm.
I kind of think that the Irish, they came up with their 3rd win, and they're going to move on to the Deacon Demons of Wake Forest.
Notre Dame might as well. They should just join the ACC in football. They're basically an ACC school. They're ACC in every other sport.
Well, the
but
agreement
football.
says they have to play the
ACC team. Yeah, so they're like a diet ACC team, basically.
Diet ACC.
In football, they're ACC in every other sport, and in football, it's like they're diet ACC or
Diet. What's that mean?
I don't know. I think you're asking. Either me or you wouldn't know anything about
Diet
that.
ACC.
But anyway, go ahead.
Look, this is coming up. Play Wake Forest, then come home and play Stanford, and they're sitting pretty. The Stanford game will be huge.
And here's the thing, Ange. We always talk about this in college football. There's no such thing as a guaranteed win. We know.
Oh, I don't know. If you're playing Kent State, I think you got a guaranteed win there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Penn State almost lost to Appalachian State. That was a guaranteed. What I'm saying though, Ange, is even with Notre Dame, all it takes is a game where Notre Dame can come out flat or unfocused or an injury.
But Notre Dame's everybody's Super Bowl.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like their opponents are going to come out like
But that's not like Penn State. Penn State, nobody's their Super Bowl. It's like, we're playing Penn State. Let's give Kent State.
Well, except if you're Pitt fans, and I don't.
Well, that's a rivalry.
Yeah.
That Penn State doesn't want to admit to.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't want to admit to that. I mean, it's not,
because they have their snoot up in here.
Yeah, I think there is a lot to that. I think a lot of it stems to the fact that it's like if they beat Pitt, they feel like they have nothing to gain. If they lose to Pitt, well, we saw it happen a few years ago when they lost to Pitt. They got left out of the national title game.
The thing is, Pitt wins and then shoots himself in the foot because they don't go out and recruit.
Well, that's a Pitt thing. I don't know if it's so much that Pitt doesn't go out and recruit as it's just, Pat Narduzzi, he's recruiting against bigger brand name schools, Ohio State, Penn State.
And so was Johnny Majors.
Yeah, but he had Tony Dorsett. Yeah, I mean,
but he was recruiting. He recruited him against Penn State.
Well, what I'm saying is that a lot of times you just kind of need that one high caliber player that could change everything.
And
You know what I
Pitt's
mean?
had more people go to the NFL and be successful.
Oh, it's
than
a coaching
okay.
It's coaching,
So
I believe.
I think it's media. I think you got to play on campus. I think you've got to raise the awareness. Okay.
Well, I think it's well known that Pitt fans want an on-campus stadium. I know the athletic director and administration before said it's not practical. I don't know if it's true. I don't know the details behind it, but I'm with you. I would love for somehow they could find a way to get it on campus.
On-campus stadiums rock.
Yeah, and it creates environment. And yeah, they have to the basketball, arena there, but like football makes the money.
You mean the big mistake?
The big mistake. I don't want to hate on the Pete. I don't know if Pitt will ever be a top 10 team under Pat Narduzzi. They could be a consistent top 25 team. Is that good enough for Pitt in the administration? I don't know. I think a lot depends what happens this year. But I think it's time for a break because now
you seem a little sleepy.
I'm a little just thinking about Pitt football right now is making me bored and tired because it's just the same thing, and they're gonna get their six and seven.
Georgia Tech. What do you want out of them?
It'd be nice if they didn't get blown out by Penn State. At least they could have put up a fight.
Hey, listen. I'm going to prove to you how much of a fallacy that is. Listen up, Penn Staters.
You might want to say that for the third segment.
Listen up, Penn Staters.
Because when we got back, Angela's gonna go off on you guys. And Angelo, let's be honest, you're not the most Penn State friendly fan there is.
Oh, I am very Penn State friendly. Play some competition, and I'm right on your tail.
All right. Well, when we get back, Angelo will elaborate more on that. But let's take a break and now word from our sponsors.
Today's programming is brought to you by NCTV45 and NC Radio 450, Newcastle's community television station. This program furnished by Sporting Goods, 23 East Washington Street, Newcastle. Call 724-658-2535. These fine businesses provided funding for this program. Gatherings, Town and Country, and On Target.
Welcome back to the Cedars Sports Corner, everybody, for our third and final segment. Angela, you wanted to explain a little bit about Penn State?
Little kitty kittens there of Penn State. Before you start pounding your chest and say, oh, we had a big win against Pitt, they're not a rival. If you were in the big game, the book entitled it The Game, many times between Notre Dame and USC. And I'm an Irishman, but I will give the Trojans their due. There's been runaway games. SC has run away with them, and I've had to take medication. Okay. And the Irish have won away with them, like when we brought in the Trojan horse and wore green jerseys. Okay. So, Penn State, don't be thinking you're all about that. Okay, because you had a runaway game against Pitt and you had to warm up with Appalachian State and then go to Kent State. Don't think it's really that big a deal.
Well, most people, I think, believe that James Franklin recruiting has finally took off and finally paid off under, for Penn State under his leadership. And he does recruit well. Now, that's the thing. With Penn State getting all these recruits, 4 stars or 5 stars, the last few years, they're ranked right up there at the top. With their talent, do you think they'll have enough talent to compete for a national title?
No.
Okay, explain why.
First of all, it's very difficult for them to win the big game outside of Penn State. I don't think they're as organized as an Alabama or Notre Dame. And I'm even going to give Michigan the nod on organization and being ready to play the big game. So I think Penn State has to go quite a ways before they can claim that kind of status. I just don't believe that they have it like that.
I think in terms of talent, they can do it, but again, it goes down to, coaching, having experience in the big game, beating big teams. So we'll see. I don't know. I'm probably not as pessimistic about them as you are. But okay, for right now, if Penn State and Notre Dame play, what's the outcome?
Notre Dame beats them by 3 touchdowns.
Really?
Yeah.
Like guaranteed.
Guaranteed, no doubt about it.
So, injuries don't happen. Notre Dame might not come out slow or sloppy.
No.
Okay. That
Notre Dame wins by
That stuff
3.
never happens.
Okay. And everybody forgets, last year, the Lions struggled with Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Lions have struggled with some pretty notable teams, and I'm not sold on that Penn State brand when, you have wins over Appalachian State and Kent State. Pitt was probably the only quality team they played in really bad weather, and now they've got Illinois, Ohio State, and Michigan State. And Indiana's undefeated, and Iowa, and Michigan. Okay? So they got to go on the road to Illinois, and then they get Ohio State at home. So, what are you thinking? Then they go out to Indiana. Their saving grace is they play Ohio State and Michigan State at home. I think that's a thing that saves them. But then they got to go to the big house. And I'm saying Michigan ain't going to be bad forever.
What do you make of Jim Harbaugh? He was supposed to come in, be the savior, just make Michigan take off.
It takes some time sometimes.
Yeah, and he's 1-9, I think, against top 10 teams. I still wouldn't pull the plug yet. When it comes to coaching in college football, I'm a big fan of being patient. I know, people like to get rid of coaches in a few years if possible, but I don't know. I think you need to be patient for recruiting to build a program. But
are you going to have sausage and sauerkraut stamped till midnight?
No, I'm going to have a Coney Island hot dog and Augustine's pizza.
And stamped till midnight?
Yeah.
And what are you going to be doing at midnight?
Watching Monday Night Football.
No, I'm talking about Saturday. 11:59 p.m.
Well, what's going on Saturday?
I'm so glad you asked.
Oh, man.
It's the Dukes of Duquesne taking on the Rainbow Warriors out in the Hawaii.
Oh, you know what? I
ESPN.
actually will. I actually do want to see that. I actually do want to see Duquesne on ESPN.
And you know what? The Dukes come up with a win.
Oh, it's gonna be fun here.
Look out, Mike. I'll be all over them.
Oh, God. I'm looking forward to this.
Let's go Duquesne.
Let's go Duquesne Dukes. But I think that's a wrap for our show. And Angelo, any parting words?
Let's go Dukes. Notre Dame, you're on the right track. Steelers,
get your stuff together.
And Pirates, clean off the bats, put everything away, and go home and have a nice Thanksgiving.
See, this is how I know I'm really agitated about this deal. I can't stop itching myself. I'm so itchy. When I get agitated and angry and upset, I get itchy. And I've been itchy ever since the Steelers game yesterday. And I'm just so... I hope all you guys have a better week than I'm going to have. So,
Don't rash to judgment.
Don't rash to judgment. We'll see. The patient one over here. But that's it, and I hope all of you enjoy your week and stay safe.
A special thanks to the YMCA for caring about the Lawrence County community and providing funding for this program.